Good morning from the Universal Orlando parking garage. We are headed in today because there are things to update about Halloween Horror Nights. Very excited for Halloween Horror Nights to come. It's one of our favorite times of year. We love Halloween and we love the holidays, in which, if you're not familiar with Halloween Horror Nights, it is a scary, and they would call it adult themed because it deals with horror and scary themes, Halloween event. It is a separately ticketed event that happens here at Universal Studios, and you go into haunted houses. You get people jumping out at you in the streets. It's just a fantastic time. A lot of interesting things to see if you're into the horror genre. So we're gonna go inside. They've already started setting up some of the props for Halloween Horror Nights, and we've got some more news about Halloween Horror Nights. So we're gonna go inside and talk about all those things and show you some of the stuff that is going into the preparation for Halloween Horror Nights here at Universal Studios. All right, just getting in. It is first thing in the morning, so there are a lot of people heading in right now. But I will tell you, it's very nice not having to make a reservation, and I can just show up at Universal whenever I want to. So we are making our way over to Universal Studios, Florida. And the last video that I made, I said these lighting towers don't seem like they would be for Halloween Horror Nights, because that would be the last thing that I would set up, but it's kind of looking like they're for Halloween Horror Nights. Like they just wanted to get it out of the way. Put them up here, get the spotlights and all the gobos and everything tuned and where you want them, and then leave them. Walk away. So I'm thinking it's probably for Halloween Horror Nights. So I know that the thought process is, Tim, Halloween is so far away. Why are they already setting up for Halloween Horror Nights? Because Halloween Horror Nights starts in 38 days on September 2nd. So it's right around the corner. There's a lot of work that they have to do to prepare for that. So they need to start now in July, the end of July, when they start putting the props out. So if you're coming to Universal between July and the end of October, you're going to see Halloween stuff. You're gonna see props, you're gonna see construction happening, things progressing. During the day, they usually cover up anything that might be sensitive for like younger people with like a black tarp or like a camouflage tarp. So you don't see it, but you might see it. The wind might be blowing and like let it flow out or something like that. So just be prepared for that. You might get some questions like, oh, what's behind the tarp? It's for a Halloween event. That's what they're preparing for. Oh, and as we just make it to the other side of the arches, we got a couple more lighting towers in here. And those will be for Halloween Horror Nights. So I'm just assuming from here on out, every single bit of theming or lighting tower that we see is probably going to be for Halloween Horror Nights. There's some like construction worker themed people over here, some entertainment people that look like construction workers in the middle of the street. Doing some limbo. That's exciting. Not too bad of a day, 75-minute wait for Despicable Me, but we are going to head in this direction because the day after we were here, they started putting out set pieces for Halloween Horror Nights, the scare zone that will be in the Hollywood section of the park. So just as a precursor to this, we only have 3 houses announced for Halloween Horror Nights. So we only have 3 houses and no scare zones and no shows announced for Halloween Horror Nights. As of right now, as of the recording of this, that might change tonight. Who knows? But we do have some theories, and there have been some leaks, and there's been some speculation maps. So the things that I'm going to tell you about some of these places are going to be speculation, and I will tell you which ones are speculation and which ones are confirmed. But right now we're heading into a scare zone, and we don't know what it's called, but I'll tell you what the speculation is. So as for this scare zone, we know that this is called Nettle Woods Cemetery, but that's about it. We have some speculation that this is going to be vampire themed, and I'm kind of enjoying the fact that some of these things are bricked up, like they would brick up a vampire's tomb, maybe. And so also looking up at the lights up top, yeah, they're kind of like pointing straight at all these set pieces. So Halloween Horror Nights lights. So another interesting thing about this section of the park is that last year, all of these stages and sets were up on the curb. This year, they're out in the street, meaning that this is gonna be a little bit tighter for the scare actors to jump out from behind corners. Also, this kind of looks like a little door here. So the scare actor can go back behind the door and then jump out of the door onto the stage. Yeah, this is very cool, like bricked up crypts. And I like the look of everything too. This is a nice little spot that somebody could hide inside of, and it says, "Pardon our dust, we're preparing for Halloween Horror Nights. Transforming our park for Halloween Horror Nights." There's a speaker in here, a little cubby hole for a scare actor to hide inside of and jump out as people are walking by, unsuspecting guests. And the rest of the set pieces out here in Hollywood are pretty much the same. Nothing really extravagant or new about the rest of them over here. She's got some like broken brick walls here. So as we head out of Hollywood and over to Central Park, a couple of things to note here. There are set pieces going up in this area, which will be a scare zone. And there's also some lighting truss right here. So the reason that this lighting truss here off to the side is interesting is because in years past, they have had a Halloween themed lagoon show. So if you look out here on the lagoon, you can see that there are all kinds of different fountains and water screens that they have where they can project projections onto a water screen, and they have lighting effects and fountain effects. And so we are anticipating with that piece of truss work there that they will probably have another Halloween lagoon show. Once again, this is not confirmed, but I'm kind of leaning towards there being a Halloween lagoon show this year. And the whole reason that this particular truss leans towards that is because it's off to the side, away from the entrance to the scare zone, would start right about here. And you can see all of the lights on top of this truss are pointed away from where I'm standing, which is right where the truss is. So all the lights are pointed into the scare zone, none pointed out here. And the argument would be that this truss work would be for lights pointed out here, but then they would also have some of these lights pointed out there. So that's why I'm saying, I think that this truss right here is specifically for lighting for this area here to kind of direct people into the viewing area for the Halloween Lagoon show, or possibly signage for the Halloween Lagoon show. I do also want to preface that all of the speculation that we're getting for things that are coming to Halloween Horror Nights is from a website or a Twitter account called Horror Nights Nightmares. So they usually have a pretty good speculation map that we like to look at every year. And for this scare zone, they're calling it a Scarecrow scare zone. So we see we've got some lighting up there, and then we've got some like overhead environment type things, some scaffolding that is covered in black tarps, almost as if people are gonna be standing on top of this. This is built to support a human, and I'm really hoping that this means that they're going to be maybe like flying overhead in between these two. That would be amazing. Shout out to them playing some Smash Mouth right now. But yeah, I can see that this is a platform where people would be standing on top of, and I'm hoping, and I have no inside information into this, that they're going to be kind of swinging between the two platforms, because it's interesting to me that these platforms are directly across from each other. If you can remember back to that scare zone in Hollywood, none of the sketch pieces are across from each other. So they like to spread them out. There's no reason to have them across from each other unless there is some overhead environment between the two. And my hopes is that it's a scare actor that goes between the two, but there are no ladders that I can see that lead up to the second level here, unless they haven't added them yet. Maybe they would add them in the evening time. Oh, we can see that they have put some tape on the ground to notate, okay, this is where this piece goes. And then we've got some more tape here that maybe this could be the walkway up to it. I don't know. And there is another one on this side too, but not on the other side. There's no tape on the other side. Also notice how close these are to each other. So it will be another claustrophobic area where people will be kind of like funneled into a section here that they have to walk through. So if you all remember the last time that we were here, we just kind of showed these towers and then that was it. And I said they're gonna add speakers and stuff like that. And you can see they have added speakers out here. This kind of looks like maybe a fog machine over here that I don't know why it's so far away. I would imagine that that should be like up close. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Maybe they move it. There's some more speakers here too. I also talked about this grassy patch last time, and we can see they've already put some lights over here and speakers, of course, but no other set piece yet. Yeah, nothing else really happening in this scare zone though. We still got some speakers and then some lights over here. And then that's kind of it for this area. Just speakers and lights and those two kind of like platforms in the front of the zone. As we start to head into Springfield, there's another lighting truss over here. This is not a Halloween Horror Nights scare zone. In the past, it has been an area where roving scare actors, like a chainsaw clown gang, has hung out before, but there is nothing announced or even speculated about there being roving hordes or scare actors this year. So I think that this is just kind of like ambient lighting for the exit area from the Lagoon show. Kind of further cementing the fact that there's not going to be a roving scare zone or a roving horde in this area is the fact that there is no more lighting in this area. No more temporary lighting, at least. There is the permanent lighting, like these street lights and stuff like that, but nothing like that's how we saw at the front of Springfield. As we're heading back towards Men in Black, here is like an interesting development There are some construction walls up back here. And I don't know what they're for, but this would be an area where you would enter into 2 of the haunted houses that are typically back here. Also, admittedly, I feel like this is one of the few times that you get to hear Will Smith's song, Men in Black, as you're walking up to the ride, Men in Black. Oh, okay, so the construction wall stops right here, just short of where the entrances to the Halloween Horror Nights houses would be. Huh, wonder what they're doing. There is some like hose work and some drainage work kind of over here. So maybe they're doing some concrete cutting and replacing some concrete. That seems likely. So we're over here by Fear Factor, the Fear Factor stage, which Fear Factor is no longer, so I don't know what we would call it anymore. But we weren't sure if there was a Halloween Horror Nights show. It hasn't been announced here, but the last video we said that people have found that there is lighting work going up, but these speakers I feel like I didn't see last time. So maybe they are adding more speakers to this area, because it is kind of like a rock and roll fun type of show that they have at this theater, or at this stadium. What do you call this? Stage? Oh, well, here you go. Look at this. They do have some like trip protection going over top of a cord out here that runs over to the sign. We've got some extension cords. So probably gonna start to see something go up on this sign very soon. As we're making our way away from the Fear Factor stage, some more lighting. This is just general ambient lighting in the area because it looks nice. So there's not any sort of scare zone or anything like that in the London waterfront area, but they do have lighting trusses up just to kind of add to the spooky mood. Okay, so we have the London waterfront to our right. We're looking out on the water here, and then Springfield is to our left. Men in Black kind of back behind us there. There is a lighting tower here with some very specific spotlights slash gobos up here. Maybe it's just some like gel lights, but there's not any sort of scare zone or anything back here. What they have done in years past is there's a photo op that goes here. Oh, what is all this? Oh, okay, so this is the wire that's just running over to that light there. So I'm kind of feeling like there probably will be another photo op in this area here. Last year it was Chucky, and these look kind of specific as far as where they're pointed, rather than just like generalized ambient lighting. You can kind of see how these are different. Like all 3 of those, what are those called? I forget what those are called. But all 3 of those bigger lights are all pointed in one direction. And there's a couple of small lights around it, whereas you've got 4 bigger lights over here pointed all in different directions. Still really hoping for fun like Halloween themed food trucks. Right now we've just got some lights. So nothing else to report over here across from King's Cross. As we head into San Francisco, we can see that there are more lighting rigs set up. We got speakers set up, and the rumor for this area, the speculated scare zone here, is called Treeks and Foons. So Treeks and Foons were featured last year in the scare zone, Lights, Cameras, Haction, Eddie's Revenge, and they're basically like kind of like cartoon-esque clown type characters with like permanent smiles on their face, very bright colored outfits and things like that, like oversized candy type themes. And we'll put some links in the description down below to some videos from last year so that you can see what they look like, what they were like in the scare zone. But this entire scare zone is speculated to be dedicated to them. The thing that was interesting is that they've been around for a while. And one of the earlier scare zones that they were in was over in Toon Lagoon in Islands of Adventure. So that's rare that we would get a Halloween Horror Nights over in Islands of Adventure or even both parks. For a long time, they've just been here at Universal. But over in Islands of Adventure, they were in Toon Lagoon and they had bubbles. It was like a bubble party with scary characters in it. So I don't know if they're gonna do that again this year, but you never know. Probably they're not as like scary or menacing as a scary clown, but they are still a little bit scary. So I think this will be more of a fun scare zone than it will be a scary scare zone. Other thing that's interesting about this section here is this is the exit to Fast and Furious Supercharged. And this truss work kind of looks like an entrance, doesn't it? Like there could be a sign up there saying like, come in here for something. And the tent that we showed last video, that's kind of out behind the fence near Fast and Furious entrance. I think the exit of it is kind of like the back end of it's kind of right behind those doors. So this could possibly be the entrance to the house that is back behind these walls. So other than truss work and lights, nothing really happening in this area of the park for Halloween Horror Nights prep. So looking over here at the entrance to Fast and Furious Supercharged, there's no Halloween Horror Nights theming. So just the fact that we can see the tent doesn't mean that that's the entrance or the exit. It could just be an area of the tent, and the house might like come up from where we showed you the entrance to Treeks, and the entrance was in the Treeks and Foon scare zone, and kind of go up and then come back out, and that could be both the entrance and the exit to the house. So because we can see the tent from inside of Fast and Furious, like the queue of Fast and Furious, but there's no other theming out here, that could possibly mean that the entrance and the exit are both over there by the exit of Fast and Furious. So Fast and Furious is not speculated to be open during Halloween Horror Nights. There are other rides that are open, but Fast and Furious is not one of the ones that is speculated to be open. So that means that this could be an exit. It might not be. You never know. We gotta wait and see. As more theming progresses and as the event gets closer and closer, we'll start to get more of a taste of the layout of where things go in and out and where people would enter and exit different houses. As we are heading into the New York section of the park, we are seeing some of the lighting up on top of the buildings is definitely for Halloween Horror Nights. And we did get the announcement this morning that Scaractor Dining will be returning, but it will be here at Louis' restaurant instead of where it typically was, which was Monsters Cafe, and Monsters Cafe has since shut down. Sorry, I kind of had to come over to a corner over here because the Blues Brothers show is happening. It's a little bit loud over there. Did want to say Scaractor Dining is $54.99, and that's across the board. It doesn't matter what day you pick. You do have to pick the day that you're going, and admission to Halloween Horror Nights is required and not included in that $54.99. And then when you pick your day, then you get to pick available times, and every single day has an available time of 5, 5:15, 5:30, 5:45, and 6. So it's a really neat experience. When it was over at Monsters Cafe, you would go into Monsters Cafe and then they had a pre-selected selection of food, basically like a buffet, but they would load up your plate for you. And then you would go and sit down at your table and there would be scare actors, various characters from the event roaming around inside of there. You can get pictures with them, you're not in a big crowd. It's really nice, and you can interact with them a little bit more if they are talking characters. So it's a really cool experience. I'm interested to see the difference between Monsters Cafe and now that Monsters Cafe is closed, moving over to Louis, because Louis doesn't have any theming. Monsters Cafe had built-in theming. It was themed to Universal Classic Monsters to horror. So Louis is themed to a pizza joint. And there are more windows in Louis. In Monsters Cafe, there were less windows that you could look out onto the event and see like the crowds loading up. Whereas here, you'll be able to look right out and see the crowds loading up, see them preparing for the New York Scare Zone, because there will be set pieces that they will move out day of or right before the event. So I don't know, I'm interested to see how it goes and how it plays out and how it's set up. Like maybe they'll do some decorating inside of Louis. Who knows? Maybe there'll be special Halloween food. You know, I'm like all about this Halloween food. So be on the lookout for a video. We are gonna do Scaractor Dining this year. So we'll let you know how it is. So Louis serves pizza and pasta, and I'm assuming they'll have a different menu for the Scaractor Dining. But one thing that is a staple of Louis during Halloween Horror Nights is pizza fries. Basically French fries with marinara sauce, like a pepperoni or a sausage with some cheese on there. Basically all pizza toppings on French fries. But because Louis is doing Scaractor Dining and I haven't eaten at Louis in so long, figured I might get a slice of pizza right now. Give it a try, see how it is. Here goes, Beat Builders are coming by.
It's Universal Orlando Resort, you're watching the Beat Builders. Louis gang?
I like it. Well, there it is, my Louis pizza. Admittedly, that's a pretty darn big slice of pie. Looks kind of good. Let's give it a try. It's a pretty doughy pizza, like there's a lot of pizza dough on the bottom of it. Pretty typical pizza flavor, like theme park pizza, not anything really special. It's not bad. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what I expected. It was just regular old pizza. So that pizza slice was $11.99. We're gonna go into Louis now so you guys can see what the inside of it looks like. Not very Halloween Horror Nights-esque. And also not a lot of tables. I mean, I felt that Monsters Cafe was definitely way bigger. This guy's kind of scary though, right? Yeah, I would hope that they change the menu for Scaractor Dining. It looks like we got pizza, a chicken Caesar salad, some fettuccine Alfredo with chicken, and some spaghetti with meatballs, spaghetti bolognese, meatball sub. So not a huge selection. They do have cookies and cheesecake though. Yeah, I just feel like it's gonna be smaller with less characters inside of it. And like I said, a lot of windows too. As far as an update on The Mummy, I got nothing. We don't know what's happening. We do know that they replaced some of the barricades out here. They moved them out. Now it says Museum of Antiquities. They are themed barricades. Still says late summer. There still is like black visqueen or like black plastic covering the windows going in. They did take down, last week there was like a like a mummy guy right here that they have taken down. And Sahara Traders still has kind of like the Pardon Our Dust signs up inside of it. We'll go inside and see if anything's changed, but right now I'm not seeing anything has changed. Yeah, everything over here still looks the same as it did the last time that we were in here. Kind of interested in these photos up here. Why are some of them covered and why are they so high up there? Interesting. Oh, Starry Night. So you'll have to forgive the noise in the background, but Marilyn and the Diamond Bellas are coming out soon, so that show just started. One thing I wanted to point out is we don't have an opening date for Revenge of the Mummy, but we do know that coming up, Universal likes to give out magnets to their annual pass holders that are themed. They say UOAP, Universal Orlando Annual Pass Holder, and they've got a theme for what's happening around that time of year. The one that's coming out on August 15th is a scarab that is in the theme of the Revenge of the Mummy. So we're thinking that Revenge of the Mummy should be open before August 15th or at least in August. That's just my thought process. I don't know if that's true. It's just like a throwing it out into the universe that August 15th is our day. So the Maryland show is happening in the New York section, but we also have a stage here set up for Halloween Horror Nights across from the Tribute Store. So that's nice, a nice little start to Halloween Horror Nights in the New York section. So the speculation that's floating around for this scare zone here in New York makes absolutely no sense to me. It's just the two words, Candy Mutants. I don't know what that means. I don't have any idea what that could mean. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully more set pieces will start to go up and we'll get a better idea of what it's about. Hopefully we get a name for the scare zone. You never know. But one thing I do want to say is that the Tribute Store will be here for Halloween Horror Nights. It'll be Halloween themed, and there are some like clues inside of this Tribute Store right now that kind of point towards what the Halloween theme will be. I'm thinking it's going to be a theater again, almost like they're taking the same theater and putting it further in time and making it into a haunted theater. So I'll show you what I mean. So we're just going to walk in the exit of the Tribute Store, and right here at the exit there is a cutting table, almost as if you were cutting film together. And we've got some references to Halloween Horror Nights here. These were fake movies that were featured in the Halloween Horror Nights house, Slaughter Cinema, and they've been adding in a lot of little like newspaper clippings across this entire table. And so you keep seeing different things, and then we start to see Halloween. Oh, this one's from 1952. And the mayor has put together a plan to erect a family-friendly Halloween venture within the next 2 weeks. Current plans are hush, but one insider has made claim that it could be a locally ran food venue selling new and exotic foods like churros and Italian fries, pizza fries, in other words, with a spooky theme. Only time will tell, or local building permits. So, this one's from 1952. There is a newer one. Newly elected mayor plans to reopen the theater, exorcising the demons of the past. Okay, going back to its iconic design, but there's still tragedy and despair. Gotta dig deeper, 1979. And I think that's the most recent one. Ooh, 1982, just kidding, Tribute Theater reopens. This is the very first one. This is the one that we have right now, the Tribute Theater from the 80s. Having shed all previous curses? Wow. Okay, since 1885. So the very first piece of the pie that we get is 1885 right here. Grand opening of the Tribute Theater, proud moment for an anonymous benefactor. Ooh, okay. Like a nice little mystery happening over here. Ooh, theater was inexplicably filled with candy? Okay, that kind of leads towards this Candy Mutant scare zone that's out front too. Interesting, very interesting. Suspects are still at large. Whoa, okay. Last year during the Halloween season, many strange occurrences linked to the now famous Tribute Theater's poison concession. Ooh, okay. So we're talking about candy, we're talking about concessions, tragedy and despair, churros and pizza fries, anonymous benefactor, candy, still another candy thing. Okay, this is getting interesting because, like we said, out front, the scare zone is supposed to be Candy Mutants, and that'll play right into the fact that this tribute store for Halloween could have like a candy theme to it. Like, it's still theater theme, but a lot of influence on the food and the candy. Oh, I'm all in on this one. Now, here's my question. Like I said, this scare zone is just speculated to be Candy Mutants. Do you think that maybe some of because the way that they get their speculations is through leaks and like telephone, like, hey, I heard this, I heard this, I heard this, I heard that it's gonna be this. So it's like being passed across multiple people, and then they make up their speculation map. Do you think maybe the tribute store is Candy Mutants, and then this scare zone might be something else? Or do you think the two of them are tied together? So the questions that I have, I'm very excited to find out the answer to this. I'm also very excited to see what kind of candy and churros and pizza fries they're gonna have inside the tribute store, because yes, I am very excited for that. You guys know I'm all about like themed food. And if they're going to have mutant food, it sounds amazing. Oh my goodness. Looking at the Monsters Cafe, yeah, it is being demolished here. Wow, yeah, the front entrance is getting taken down. I would imagine they would go back to just being a square building, you know, start from scratch. A little bit better view of the demolition from over here. Yeah, they're ripping this building apart. But like I said, it makes sense. Start from scratch, bring it down to just walls, and then just start adding back to it. Seems the easiest way to do it. Last time we were here, they were setting up for some sort of concert out here. I think that it was for an event called the Florida Cup, which is a soccer or football event. And there's an area here called the Fan Zone. So like a big concert that they were putting on after the Florida Cup. And as you can see, it is all gone now. They've taken it all down. And the last area of the park where there will be a scare zone is this area called Plaza of the Stars, in between what used to be Shrek 4D and Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. And we don't have anything set up in this section yet, but we do have an idea of speculation that this will be a traditional Halloween scare zone, like traditional Halloween themes. So I feel like this is a rare moment in time where this just like happened to happen. Walking around Universal, and right this second, Universal just announced the 4th Halloween Horror Nights house to be announced, and that is based on The Weeknd. It's The Weeknd, the music artist The Weeknd. It's called The Weeknd After Hours Nightmare. So if you've seen any of The Weeknd's music videos, I have a feeling it'll be along those lines, that sort of look. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what kind of stuff there is. I need to watch some of The Weeknd's music videos to catch up and like get myself familiar with what the house will be. But that leads us into a good topic, because we've gone through all the scare zones. Let's talk about houses. So for houses, as of right now, we have 4 out of the 10 houses announced, like officially announced by Universal. And so right now we have Halloween based on the movie Halloween, the original 70s Halloween. We've got The Horrors of Blumhouse, which is based on The Black Phone and Freaky, the movie Freaky, which is kind of like a horror themed Freaky Friday. We've got Universal Monsters Legends Collide. And then the last one, sorry, the 4th one was the Weeknd one that they just announced. So we got the Weeknd, Halloween, Universal Classic Monsters, and Blumhouse. Those are the 4 that are announced. Now, the reason I have my phone out is because recently there was something of a leak. We're not sure if it's true, if it's fan-made, or if somebody accidentally leaked one of the shirts from Halloween Horror Nights that gives the names of a few of the other houses. So I did want to reiterate that these names that I'm reading you could be made up. They could not be real. They might be something that was fan-made. They might be the actual names of the houses. We don't know. This is just something that popped up and then disappeared real quickly. So who knows? But it does kind of fit in with the speculation map that I was talking about earlier from HHN Nightmares. So I'm gonna read these names really quick. So on the shirt, we have 8 names. We have Halloween, we've got Universal Monsters Legends Collide, we've got Spirits of the Coven, which is, it sounds like a witch house. We've got the Horrors of Blumhouse, which we already talked about, that one's already been announced. We've got Dead Man's Pier Winter's Wake, which sounds a lot like a previous scare zone, which was called Dead Man's Wharf. We've got Fiesta de Chupacabras, sounds like a house based on the myth of the Chupacabra. We've got something called Descendants of Destruction, which I don't know what that means at all. And then we've got the scariest one, I think, out of all of them, and it's called Bugs Eaten Alive, a house based around bugs. and that sort of phobia. And I think a lot of people are not gonna like that house. I think a lot of people are gonna be scared of it. So I am interested to see if this is the actual concept art for a Halloween Horror Nights shirt, and these are the houses that they're going to announce soon. If you'll notice, The Weeknd was not on that house. And there's one other house that we don't know. The speculation map says that it could be Evil Dead. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. As more information comes out, we'll keep you guys posted. But as of right now, those are the names of all of the confirmed houses and the speculated houses. Like I said, we've only had 4 announcements so far. We still got 6 to go, and all of the scare zones. We still need to know what all the scare zones are. So I'm excited to find out what's happening and what's coming. And we've only got, like I said at the beginning of the video, 38 days until the event. So I have a feeling we are going to start getting a lot of announcements. So from the look of the sky, it looks like we are heading out just in time. But today was a fantastic day, like really exciting stuff, seeing some progress towards Halloween Horror Nights. Like, it is happening. It's 38 days away. It's happening real soon. So September 2nd is the opening night of Halloween Horror Nights. Very excited for that date to come. Lots of fun things on the horizon. As the event gets closer and we get more and more information, we're gonna do a full layout of where everything is in the park and what to expect and what each house is like based on, and what the storyline for each house is and what the storyline for each scare zone is, like where to find things, kind of like a wayfinding trip around the park. Let you guys know a little bit more information as we get more information. So stay tuned. And with that being said, we are off. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Hi, my name is Robert, and my channel is Theme Parks, Adventures, and More on YouTube. All one word, and now it's time to pay the price.